Hello everyone, welcome to a Paper Flourish craft video. My name is Julie and the video today I'm going to be creating my March page in the Lavinia 2023 calendar. So already I've done a video, I used Tracy from Lavinia, her image for January. And then this was the February page, which hopefully you've got your February page up at home, displayed at home somewhere where you can enjoy it. So today's challenge is to decorate the March page. Come in. Someone's tapping my leg down here, wanting to come up and say hello, I think. Come on. Here he comes. All right. So this is, I've already prepared, or I've already made the page I'm going to be doing on the calendar, and this is the one I'm going to do. This stamp is the Oracle, and I think it's just the most gorgeous detailed stamp. It is stunning. I've decided to go with a bit of a purpley pink colour theme for March, and I'm planning on bringing the design a little bit down into the calendar page. And I've been inspired by one of our lovely customers at the store at Paper Flourish, Jan, who's been showing me the absolutely stunning, the creativity that she's been putting into making her pages is amazing, and she has been bringing the designs and things down into the calendar section, and it looks amazing. So thank you, Jan. Today I plan on trying that in the March page. Of course, if something doesn't go quite right on here, I can always pop that over the top and use that as my March image. So please keep that in mind. If you're working on the calendar and something doesn't go right, cut yourself a piece of multifarious card, work your lovely images on that, and then that can just be stuck over the top, right? So it's no disaster if something goes wrong on the page. I'm taking a bit of a risk today because I've picked a solid stamp. Now, if you notice back on January and February, the stamps are more an outline stamp. So it's a little bit risky doing a solid image. If though it doesn't completely stamp properly, I've got an idea up my sleeve to show you what I would do to fix that. And in fact, when I stamped the Oracle, part of her body didn't stamp quite really solid. So, and you wouldn't know it now. So I'll pass that idea on to you when we do that stamp. So I'm just going to pop this to the side. So I've got it there in front of me to copy, but this time I'm going to work the image onto the March calendar page. So let's just turn that over. Gorgeous, beautiful card to work on that Lavinia have put into their calendar. Now, please don't feel you have to do this exactly the same as I do. This is your calendar. So I'm just showing you what I've decided to use on my page. You are most welcome to do the same design if you wanted to. You could change colours, you could use different stamps, or do a totally different design altogether. Now, remember, it is your calendar, so please enjoy it. Enjoy the product and create as you want to in it. All right, now I've got a Murphy on my lap, which is going to be very interesting because the first thing I want to do is my stamping. And I found doing these calendar pages, doing this stamping of the images first seems to be the way to go. So I've already popped the Oracle stamp onto a Lavinia acrylic board. I'm going to ink this up in the Nocturne, stamp it onto the page, cross my fingers, and hopefully it all stamps beautifully. I did ink up my Nocturne ink pad yesterday, so hopefully it's nice and inky. So let's ink this up. I'm going to show you a little hint as well. I bought an amazing product recently in store, and I'm going to use it just to help make sure I transfer all of this image. I'm just making sure the ink's completely covering it. Murphy's hopping down, which is probably good timing, Murph. Okay, so the stamp is all inked up, ready to go. And I'm going to place that in position on my page. And I think I'm going to place the Oracle around about here. Now, to help press that, this is by Pinkfresh, and it is a stamp press tool. But I have found, holding very carefully, I can use it to apply nice even pressure over the stamp. So hopefully this is going to help. Now the big moment has arrived. Let's take that away. Okay, so this is what happened when I stamped her on the page to start. So there are some areas there where the ink hasn't gone. So I'm going to show you in a moment what I'm going to do there. The Pinkfresh stamp press tool is designed to be used with your stamp press. This is my stamp press here. So what you would do is put your card in there, position your stamp, ink it up, and then use this to apply that even pressure, and it is the best. It's quite pretty too, but it's doing a great job. I've found it so much easier to get a really lovely image straight up in the stamp press. Okay, so I've got a couple of little blotchy areas there which I want to fix up. So what I found the easiest way to do it, this is my re-inker for the Versafine Clair Nocturne ink pad, and I'm going to pick up a fine brush. These are one of the Lavinia watercolour brushes. Take the lid off, and I found if you pick up some of the ink, you can paint those areas in, and because it's the exact same ink, it just blends in together. So I've actually found this the best way to fix up those little areas that didn't quite stamp as you wanted them to. The fine watercolour brushes, so easy to work with. So a little bit more there. Let's see, it'll just end up all blending in together. A little bit more. Isn't that just the most delightful stamp? Her hair, her wings, the detail in them is amazing. And that's fixed that up. There we are. So now you don't really notice those areas where it didn't quite stamp. So I've actually found that is the easiest way to fix up when stamping doesn't quite go right. I'm just going to put a little bit in there. And that's done. And a little bit. So I think that's how it's meant to be there. Okay, done. That was easy, wasn't it? So the next stamp I'm going to do is the sentiment. Now the one I've chosen, and this is what guided me, and this is why I chose the Oracle stamp, art is a story waiting to be told. And I thought it kind of all went together. So I'm planning on putting this up the top. Now because of the metal here, it's a little bit awkward to stamp onto that area, but I'll show you what I'm going to do. I've already put the stamp onto the long thin acrylic board, and that should now be able to fit. I've placed it near the top of the stamp, so it should now be able to stamp in there okay. If I put it down the bottom though, or in the middle, it was gonna, the top of the acrylic board would have got in the way. Now I'm just going to stamp this as well in the Versafine Clair Nocturne, the black ink. So I've inked that up. And let's position this into place. Try and get it as straight as I can. There we go, give that a moment, press it down. There we are. There we go. Okay, I've got to manage to make it just a little bit of blurring there in the image. I'll see how I go. The other option is you can always stamp it again on a piece of white cardstock and cut it out and put it over the top if need be. Okay, so that's that one. Now the other thing I'm going to do is the fairy orbs, these ones here. So let's stamp those. They come in the set of 3. Here's the stamp here. And again, same thing, I'm just going to stamp them in the Nocturne, in the black ink. So let's start, I've got the small acrylic board, so let's start with the medium size one first. Ink it up. I'm going to place that probably about here, I think. There we go, that's stamped really nicely. These always do. Every time I use these fairy orbs, they stamp like an absolute dream. And the small one now, I ink it up. And I'm just going to place this one just slightly over here to the side. We are. And then the large one as well. Now I'm going to keep these fairy orbs close because I've got an idea to use them in the bottom half of the calendar as well. I might do that a little bit later on. Okay, last fairy orb, there we go. So that's the 3 of them. They're a really good stamp, aren't they? Very useful. So I'll keep those close by and we'll come back to those in a little while. So that's my main stamping done. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to do the hill, and I've done it sort of like almost like a hillside, and the oracle standing on that hillside. And I'm planning on, if I put this over the top, the hill's kind of going to stop here, but I want to bring it all the way down into the calendar section. Now I used 2 colours to do that. I used the Mulberry, the Elements ink, and I've also used the Henna, which gives you the darker edge to the top of the hill. So let's start with the Mulberry. My hill masks, so the Lavinia acetate hill masks, and I'm using the second flattest to do the hill. All right, so let me see, which one did I end up using? I've popped it upside down. I'm just working out which part of the hill I use. I did do it that way. And so I want to try and work it so that the oracle is standing on the hill. So we might go around about there, and then I'm going to extend the hill down a little bit after. So starting with, this is, I'm just getting a piece of blank paper here to work on. So I'm going to start with the Mulberry, and I have the middle size, the Series 7 Lavinia stencil brush. I'm just going to take some of the ink off here on the side. So I've placed the hill mask upside down, and all I want to do is flick along the edge down into the hill. We'll extend that in just a moment. Extend this down. We might go something like, try and position it and bring it right over. I want to go right down into the side here. There we are. So that was with the Mulberry Elements ink pad, and I'm now going to get Henna, which is a darker colour, and this time I want to go with the smaller size stencil brush. This is the Series 3. You can see there it's a much darker colour. Let's make sure you can see that on the, yes you can, on the video. So let's position the hill back into position where it was. Now I want to take a fair bit of the ink off, and this time I'm going to flick it down, but only a tiny way, just work my way along the edge of that hill. If it was a little bit dark when you did that, you can always go back in again with the Mulberry, go over the top, and that'll just sort of blend it all in a little bit more. Okay, I think that might be just about done for the hill. I'm not going to do any more than that. I think that's enough. But those 2 colours are quite good together. So that was the hill. I don't need those hill masks anymore. Mulberry and Henna. So the next, now that I have a hill in place and oracle is standing on the hill, I had dear little Pipin looking up at the oracle. So where's Pipin? Here it is, one of the little mini stamps. And I've got the small acrylic board. Now I'm going to stamp Pipin in Nocturne in the black ink. So let's ink up Pipin. Make sure Pipin, is on the hill and looking up at the oracle. There we go. Dear little Pipin. That'll be one of the most popular stamps in the shop, Pipin. Sweet little bunny. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do, let's keep that close by, is work this lovely stenciling in, and I've brought it in on the side just down to where the hill is, and then on this side I plan on bringing it more down and all in a little bit coming into the calendar area. I thought that would look really nice. And I've used 3 colours to do this. I've used Violet Chalk Elements ink, I've used the Mulberry again, which I used on the hill, and I've also used Merlot. So I've used the 3, and this is an idea that I saw Tracy from Lavinia do on a video with her stenciling, and I thought it was just beautiful. So she used the 3 colours. I'm going to use the Feather Leaf stencil, and one of our most popular stencils at the store, and I'm just going to place that into position. First colour I'm going to go with is Violet Chalk, and this time I'm going to use the large stencil brush, largest one. Take a fair bit of ink off, I don't want to go too heavy here, and I'm just going to work just down to the hill. Let's have a quick peek, and that's looking really pretty. We'll come back to that colour in a moment. The next colour I want to use is the Mulberry. Now this time I'm going with the medium-sized stencil brush. Take a fair bit off, and I'm just going to add some colour into just some of the areas. So just bringing in that second colour. You can see there what's happened. Now we're getting some variation of colour. Might just do a little bit down here. Stencil back into position. I think that's enough for that. And the last colour is Merlot, which is quite a deep colour. So where's that little stencil brush gone? Here we go. Now I'm using the really tiny one. Tiny stencil brush, and this time I don't want to colour in much at all. I just want to add, say, maybe around the bottom of some of the dots, just some little highlights. It looks really cool. Looks a bit of a mess here while the stencil's in place, but you'll see in a moment what this is doing. See how now we've got the 3 colours? Doesn't that look pretty? A bit down here maybe. But I've only just put those little highlights of it. That's enough, I think. So that's that side there. I then want to bring, and I'm sitting here going, what am I going to do? I think I might just sort of bring it down. You can see on here I have got the stenciling like this, so I might do a similar thing, but then bring it down a little bit and fade it away down on the calendar. So that was with the Feather Leaf stencil. Okay, let's pop those back in there. We're zooming through this. Okay, medium, small, just reading my notes over here on the side. Now I'm going to use those 3 colours that I've just used, Violet Chalk, Mulberry and Merlot, to add some colour to the orbs. And this time I'm going to use the watercolour brush, the Lavinia one. Use the one that I've just used, I might do that. Use the one I've just used for the ink to colour in the Oracle. Starting with Violet Chalk, I find the easiest way to do this. There's often a little bit of ink sitting on the lid. If there's not, you can pick it up off the ink pad. You can wet your brush, that'll help. And let's start with Violet Chalk, and we might add this to the large orb. Okay, now we're right. I thought if I use this exact same colours, it's all going to blend in nicely together. And I'm just going to work into more where those larger dots are on the large orb. All 3 orbs are coloured in now, looking very pretty there. So I'm going to add now this lovely swirly stamp around the top corner, and this is the Mystic Swirl, and it's this stamp here. as you can see by the stamp, it's extremely well loved and well used. Now, if I put this on a stamp block, it's going to be very hard to stamp, especially around the top with the metal there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in without a block, just like we do with, often do this with mixed media, and just hand stamp this. And I'm going to use Versafine Clair Purple Delight. So I'm still going to ink up the stamp. We often do this in journals because you're not always working with a nice smooth surface. And let's bring this in over here. But it still stamps fine. I'm going to do some where I'm going to stamp it off first and then come in with the stamp. There we are. Okay, so Mystic Swirl is there. Now I put the foliage along the top of the hill, and I did that with, here it is, the stamp here, which is the flower collection, and I used this one here, with almost looks like a little fine branch. So this time I will pop it on the acrylic block. I used the Monarch Versafine Clair for this one, and I need, whoops, I do need a spare piece of paper just to mask off the bottom of the stamp. So I want the foliage to be more sort of towards the top of the hill, and I'm just going to work my way along here. Okay, so I've worked that foliage all the way along the hill. This stamp here is called Flutter by Minnie, and I want to add a little butterfly sitting on top of the large orb. I'm going to stamp this with Purple Delight, Versafine Clair Nocturne. I just feel like it needs something happening in here, in the areas. I thought some little butterflies would be cute. That one there, and then this is Mini Flutter. So this is the butterfly that's out flying, and we'll go with Monarch for that one. So we'll use the two different purples for the butterflies. And let's pop this one up here. There we are. Okay, we're almost there. Now I did add some glitter and also some little highlights with the pink glitter Posca, which we're going to do, I will do shortly. But first I want to just add a little bit more to the bottom of the calendar. So we've started to work down into it here on the side with the stencil. And now I'm going to bring in back some of these orbs. Now I don't want the orbs to be really dark in colour. So what I'm going to do is stamp them in Versafine Clair Morning Mist, which is the grey. But I'm going to stamp off once onto paper. And then bring it in and add an orb. That's enough of the orbs, I think. And then I thought it might be nice to do a little bit of ink blending just around the edges of the calendar. So let's go with one of the colours we've already used. I think because of the hill, I think I'm going to come in with the Mulberry. It might be nice to use that colour. Now let's open up the calendar page. Place a sheet of paper underneath just so I don't make too much of a mess. And I'm going to go with a large stencil brush. Take a fair bit of the ink off. Let's start down here. Just catching the sides there. Let's bring it all the way up. As you can see, I've had a lot of fun adding colour to the page. I did go around the edges. I brought it up a little bit at the bottom, so you can see that pink is just coming up lightly through the calendar page. I even went across the top. That hides, sort of starts to hide the bit of a mess I've made with the Mystic Swirl stamp. But no more colour. I think that's enough colour, enough stamping on here. I'm going to add Turkish Delight glitter, Where's my Quickie glue pen? And I'm just going to add this to the oracle's wings. So I'm adding little dots of the Quickie glue pen to the wings. Sprinkle with glitter. Okay, shake that off. Tap, tap, tap. Okay. If you find, where's my fluffy brush? I've got a nice fluffy brush over here. If you end up with a bit of glitter somewhere that you don't want it, just brush it away. I really only want it to be on the oracle's wings, which it is. It's sticking on there. That's better. Nice. Get glitter everywhere as usual. Actually didn't spill it for once. Don't look too closely underneath that, because I actually did spill it a little bit, didn't I? I'll fix that up shortly. So can you see there that beautiful vintage shimmer glitter? Just makes the oracle's wings sparkle away. Pink glitter Posca. Here it is. It's only a very, very light pink, this one. I'll show you on a piece of paper. But it's got a nice little glitter in it. So all I'm going to do with this is the bottom of some of the sections in the feather leaf stencil. I'm just dotting the point of those, almost like a teardrop, isn't it? Just randomly. This is my this is my March page. And so please, as I said, enjoy creating your page. If you want to do exactly the same thing I did, you're most welcome to. There's no problem with that. Just have fun creating with Lavinia. And I'll be back again probably in about 4 weeks' time with my April page. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day and keep watching for more videos coming very soon on the channel. Thank you. Bye.